Okay, so let's take a look and listen to what Harry Enton has to say about the election in Tennessee. Here we go.
Let's talk about the numbers. Republicans should be running for the hills this morning because the blue wave is building, my dear friend, Mr. Berman. What are we talking about here? Well, Matt Van Epps, the Republican candidate, he won it by 9, but this is a district that Donald Trump won by 22 points, 15 points, 17 points.
You know what would be interesting, and I don't know why they didn't show this, but why not show 2018 and 2022? Now, I know this is president, and that's what they're showing, the pluses, plus 17, plus 15, and plus 22. But what about those midterm elections? What was the point margin there? That's what I would have wanted to know.
Is a 13-point gain for the Democrats in terms of the margin, and excuse time for Republicans is over, because I hear all about these special elections. Oh, the turnout's so low, it's not representative of what happened in the midterm election. The turnout last night in Tennessee's 7th district was equal to the turnout in the 2022 midterm election. So the blue wave, it seems to be building right out of center of Tennessee.
Interesting.
And I mean, you guys understand what they're saying. I mean, what he's essentially saying is plus 9. That is what we saw in that Tennessee special election. And then when you compare that to Trump, the numbers that Trump was receiving in that same district, twice as much. And so you can see that there's been, voters are changing just in that district. They're changing how they're voting just based on the latest information. And so this should be a really scary time for Republicans, because looking at what they wanted to see is they wanted to see something in the neighborhood of that 15, 17, 18, 20 point margin. That's what they wanted to see, because that would tell them that the district hasn't changed. But looking at this, it's clearly obvious that this district has changed.
In terms of the numbers, the turnout looked like a regular midterm election, not a special election.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And of course, we have a midterm, what, about 11 months from now?
All right. What have we seen in terms of trends in all the special elections the last year?
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily give a hooting and hollering about one special election in Tennessee. I love the people in Central Tennessee, but Central Tennessee is nothing special compared to the rest of the country. But what we see happening is, take a look here. Okay, 2025 U.S. House special elections. Dems outrunning Kamala Harris. A lot of blue here, a lot of blue, which is what I think the nation might look like a year from now if these results hold. Arizona 7, you see a 17 outperformance of Kamala Harris. 23 points in Florida 1, 16 points in Florida 6, 13 points in Tennessee 7, 28 points in Texas 28, and then 17 points in Virginia 11. So we've seen it throughout the nation, whether you go from the suburbs of Washington, D.C., all the way to the southwest in Arizona, whether you're looking at Texas, whether you're looking at Tennessee, whether you go down to Florida, we have seen the Democratic outperformance of Kamala Harris happening across the political map. What happened last night in Tennessee ain't just staying in Tennessee. It is spreading itself throughout the nation. As I said, to me, looking at these results, it looks like a blue wave is building.
And it's not just...
Okay, and what they're showing here, just for some of you, you might be looking at this and saying, outperformance, what does all this mean? So basically what they're saying in these districts, Harris's numbers compared to the numbers that we're seeing in these special elections that are coming out, the Democrats in those special elections are outperforming what Harris did back in 2024. And so that's what they're saying here. And you see it across the board, all of these different districts showing that the Democrat is outperforming, which means the voters are shifting. So you have more voters that are coming in now than back when Harris was running in 2024. You have more voters now that are voting for the Democrat than they were back in 2024.
It's that it's blue. It's that it's double-digit blue.
It is
in this case.
Exactly right. It's double-digit blue. I will note, I looked at the stats. If, in fact, you had a 13-point shift like we saw in Tennessee, and you applied that to the 2024 presidential map, we are talking about a gain for Democrats of north of 40 seats.
All right. In terms of the history.
Okay. North of 40 seats. We're going to come back to that.
Okay. So we're looking at these special elections. We're sort of applying these hypothetical numbers, right, in terms of, Democrats would gain north of 40 seats if, you moved everything over, 13 points from the 2024 presidential result. But we actually have history to show that what happens in special elections doesn't just stay in special elections. It spills over to the midterm results. Special elections and midterm results. I just keep going to this. When a party outperformed in special elections since 2005, 5 out of 5 times they went on to win a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. What happened last night in Tennessee is a very, very bad omen for Republicans and a very, very good omen for Democrats.
Ariette.
Okay, so you see a lot of the signs are pointing towards Democrats doing really well in the 2026 midterms. Okay, so now let's talk about that 40 plus that he was talking about. So 40 plus seats. Now we're doing this model here, okay? And I have a formula that I basically trained AI to create a formula to predict the 2026 midterm election. Now, their prediction right now is 40 plus. And so I just want to show you where we are. So we started week 1 at 11 seats, so plus 11 for Democrats. Week 2 is now plus 20, so 20 seats for Democrats. Week 3, plus 21. Week 4, plus 36. Week 5, plus 40. Week 6, plus 45. And now we're into week 7, and we're at plus 46. And so our prediction model is right along the same lines as some of these other prediction websites and information that we're receiving. So it's saying it's going to be about plus 40 seats. And so we'll have to see if that happens. We still have a year before the election. A lot can change in that year. And so just looking based on the information that we have in front of us today, it's saying that Democrats will have a blue wave if things stay the way that they are now, which obviously we know it's going to change. But if we're looking at some of the same issues, affordability, if we're looking at some of the same things that are going on right now where people are just unhappy with overall what inflation looks like and stuff like that, if that is still, or if we're still talking about those things come November of next year, then we're going to see similar results. And it could be even worse because we don't know how bad things can get when it comes to inflation. How bad can things get when it comes to just being able to afford things? If it gets worse, then these numbers can increase. Now, if it gets better, these numbers can decrease. So we don't know. We don't know where we're going to be when it comes down to it. But I would just say right now, and just listening to how President Trump is trying to handle this whole affordability crisis, he's basically calling it a hoax now. And he's saying that Democrats are just creating this and it's not real. Well, I don't think that's going to work because if there's one thing that the American people are experts in, it's affordability. It's the cost of items. We know when we go to the grocery store how much things cost. We know that those prices have increased. So you can't fool us with that. You can't tell us that this is not what's going on. And so the only thing that you're going to do by saying that it's a hoax and it's not real and the prices are all going down, you're going to upset voters. And if you upset voters, some of those voters won't come out to vote, but some of those voters will come out to vote just as a protest to what's going on and what they're hearing from the government. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.